Hi, small group leaders, and welcome back. Thank you so much for helping us love on kids in this really crazy season that we've all been in. As we begin back with our kids this week, we're going to be taking a look at Jesus's ministry life. As we finished up with kids this summer, we walked through Jesus growing up to become an adult. And in this series, we called Like Jesus, we're going to be looking at what it was like for Jesus to minister to people and to show them his God power as he continues to heal and show how he was not just God's son or a man, he was God in person. He had the ability to heal people and to forgive them of their sins, and only God can do that. And so we pick up in our lesson today in the book of Mark. And in the book of Mark today, we're going to be looking at how Jesus and his friends were in the town of Capernaum. And while they were there, Jesus began to teach. Now, Capernaum is a fishing town, so very similar to like Port Lavaca. People there are used to fishing. They live by the water. And as you know, just imagine kind of the town knowing that many of them were fishermen and that was their living for how they took care of each other. And so everyone was amazed when Jesus entered the synagogue to teach because he talked or he spoke like someone who was in charge. I don't know if you've ever had the chance to be in front of someone who is very commanding when they speak, but that's kind of what I picture in this picture of Jesus is there. Obviously, not everybody realizes who he is because he doesn't dress like a priest. He hasn't come up in the priesthood like many of the families in that area. And so he comes in and he starts teaching, but he's not the typical teacher like Pastor Mike or Pastor Kim or Pastor Sam would be. He came in and he commanded authority. I remember one time I got the chance to meet President George W. Bush while he was president. And that was one of the things that all of us in our family were able to, as we looked at him and he kind of looked through us, what we saw was that command that he had the authority. And not only did he have the authority, he used that authority appropriately. And I think that's what in this picture, everyone is explaining to what Mark is writing about in this book is that not only could he speak, he had the ability to speak, but when he spoke, people listened and paid attention to what he was saying. And while Jesus was preaching, he helped a man who had an unclean spirit. Now, an unclean spirit is a demon possession kind of thing. It could have also looked like someone who had a mental illness. Many people in that time who had mental illnesses or a mental disorder that would cause them to behave erratically, they would say that they had an unclean spirit. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't have an unclean spirit, but it could have looked similar to what we realize as people now who have a mental illness as well. And everyone heard about what Jesus did, and they were amazed. He helped the man. Then Jesus went to Simon and Andrew's house with James and John. Simon's mother in law was sick. Jesus held her hand and healed her. The whole town came to Jesus, and Jesus healed many people who were sick. Jesus healed a man with sore places on his skin. Jesus' miracles showed he is God's son. This is one of the ways that God prepared people to realize that when Jesus came, he was not going to teach like other teachers. He was going to have power that other teachers didn't have. just like today, like there's a lot of people that say they have that power, but I don't know how they could possibly have that power because they are not the Son of God. And so, something to think about as you listen to different teachers around the world. How could they possibly have more of God's power than God's Son had? And so, in our lesson today, our big picture question is, why did God create people? And God created people to worship Him, to love Him, and to show His glory. In other words, when we realize that Jesus was God's Son, God, man, fully God, when we realize that, then we can worship Him in a very different way. We can acknowledge Him in a very different way because we're giving Him more power than just a really great teacher. So, in your lesson today, you're going to kind of play a game where you are going to use your tape that is in your baggie and put pieces of tape all over the room. And the kids are going to help you collect those, kind of like healing the man who had all of the spots. And it's just a fun way to get the kids excited about something to do while they're in their classrooms. In our classrooms, we still have limited amount of toys in there. That's because after every time it is used, we need to clean it and sanitize it. And so we will do that for you as soon as the service is over. Don't feel a need to do that like in the middle of while you're serving. It's okay. The kids, as long as we're keeping the same group of kids together, we are doing everything everyone is recommending, and as far as keeping everyone safe. Now, I will tell you, if you feel like as a leader you would feel more comfortable wearing your face mask the entire time, please do that. I'm also going to tell you that if you feel like at any point you can't continue to serve because it's not safe for you or for those that you're around, please, please, please let me know. God's taking care of us. We've got leaders who are willing to serve, and thankfully, and if we don't, then we have a backup plan for that as well. I want you to know that your health and safety is very, very important to me. And I want you to do what God needs you to do with the understanding that if that changes at any point, I want you to talk to me. Also, if you have come in contact with or anyone in your household is being tested for COVID, please let me know as soon as possible. We want to give you the chance to be away, and I'm going to need a little bit of time to find someone to fill your spot. So don't feel like that's a pressure that you can't come and that you need to try to show up anyway. Please don't. Please don't. Please keep all your germs and all your germ circle in your circle. I love you enough to tell you that we are going to be fine. The church is going to be fine, and I want to care for you as well. So if you would let me know, I would love to bring you groceries if you need groceries, or a meal, or just an encouragement so that you know that you are not alone. Also, let you know, we have created care groups. And our care groups, I'm very excited about. We have a great group of leaders willing to take care of those who are regular attenders at Parkway. That doesn't mean that we don't want to keep up with everybody, but we realize as far as numbers are concerned, there's a certain amount of people that we can keep up with. So we're going to, for now, try to reach out to the people that are on our regular attenders list pretty regularly. So at least once a month, they'll be getting contact from a care leader in their area. We also are going to be providing you with resources for ways that you can take things to families as a way for them to know that they are loved and cared for by Parkway Church. If you have any ideas at any point that you would like to see us try to implement, please share that with me. We are trying to be as creative as possible, realizing that God's church is dispersed right now, but we want you to know that we are in this together. I am in this in the middle with you. I promise you, my life is not easier because of whatever station I'm in. I am figuring out every day, just like you are for your job, how to do this. I am figuring out every day how to keep my family safe. I'm figuring out every day how to care for my aging parents who need some extra care as well. So please know, and I'm not saying that so that you are feel sorry for me, but know that truly, we are in this together. There is not anybody across the world. I talked to my sister in Romania, and she would tell you the exact same thing. We are in this together. We are all figuring out what this new normal is for all of us. I love you guys. There's also your memory verse, and this one should be fairly familiar to you. It's John 3:16. So follow the instructions there as a way to try to help the kids memorize this memory verse. And then you also have some coloring sheets. This is for kindergarten. This is for babies, 1s and 2-year-olds. Thank you guys for leading, and I love you guys. We'll see you soon.